Hello folks, this is Simon Ward of the triathloncoach.com and the SWAT Inner Circle. So firstly I'd like to introduce you to my beautiful new Quintanaroo PR6, and in this short video I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process of how I would set up my hydration and nutrition needs for a long distance triathlon. So first let's go over here to the back. Now you can see this bike has got a nice little storage container at the back here. It also has a little flashing light if you need it. But before I go into what I carry in my spare tools kit, I just want to say that when you have a nice bike like this, or indeed any bike that you're intending to ride for 90 to 180k, the most prudent option is to get it serviced a couple of weeks before the race. If you've got a chain in good working order, your derailleurs work, all the nuts and bolts are torqued up to the right levels, and there's no sign of any wear and tear, there's no need at all for you to be carrying a huge, great big toolkit behind your saddle, which is where most people carry them, just here. Now, there's a good chance that if you've purchased a bike similar to this, you've chosen it because it's aerodynamic and it's lightweight. And you've probably also spent quite a bit of time getting yourself into your own race shape to be as light as possible, so thereby losing more weight, of course, because we know that watts per kilo help, particularly when you've got to go up hills. So what you don't want to be doing is unnecessarily adding more weight back onto the bike. So if at all possible, minimise your toolkit. For me, this is all I need. Inner tube in case I have a puncture, tyre levers to get the tyre off, and gas bottle to pump the inner tube back up. Now you might say, well, that's taking a bit of a risk. Why don't you carry 2 inner tubes or 2 gas bottles? In 19 Ironman races now, or Iron distance races, I've had 2 punctures, and on both of those races I only punctured once. So once I'd got it back on again, that was me done. Now of course I didn't have a spare, and if I did get another puncture, that's game over. There is one option. If you have special needs, you can always leave inner tube and gas bottle in there and pick it up, which means that you could restock your supplies. So what we're going to do is we put the inner tube and the gas bottle and the tyre levers into a little storage cabinet here. You can see how well that goes together. It's quite there we are, that's it, all nice and compact. Now on to hydration. First thing is to look at the race schedule and certainly the bike map and understand where the feed stations are. This is where I keep my water, and it will hold at least 750ml. Now what that means is every time I go past an aid station, I can take a water bottle, I can flip the top up here, decant the water into there, put it back down again, and this straw is in an aerodynamic, the straw is right in front of me and the bottle's in an aerodynamic position between my hands. It's also right in front of me. So what that means is I'm always reminded of the fact that I need to hydrate. You can also get a little top here which has got a split in it, which means you can pop in any salt tablets if you want those as well. Now I do know that some people like to put some water bottle holders on the back here. The problem with that is that sometimes it means you have to, well, every time it means you have to twist around a bit, and I have heard stories of people who've crashed and ended their races because they've lost control when they were reaching round. They perhaps weren't looking where they were going, or as they were reaching round it caused their bike to veer off to the right or left, thus hitting the curb or going into the ditch. So for me, this is just as aerodynamic. It means everything's in front of you, it's easy to see, and this option is much better for those races where they only hand you squashy Evian water bottles. Now what you can do is you can go to a race where they give you a normal water bottle, your normal water bottle would start in here, and as you go past the aid station you take that out just before, chuck it to the side, and then take another one and slot it back in there, and then drink as you would out of a normal water bottle. For nutrition, I keep about 300 calories of carbohydrate drink in here, so that's a very, very thick solution. I do dilute it a little bit with water, but that's enough for at least 2 hours of riding. I might take a couple of energy bars with me that I have early on in the race, and in this little bento box type solution here, this is actually comes with the bike, so it's nice and aero. I will keep a squeegee bottle. This is actually one that I use for lubrication. So it's not this water bottle, but the principle is that you decant your gels into here. It's got a squeezy top, so when you want to take a mouthful you can. You're not forced to take the whole of the gel packet, and then you just put it back in here. And again, it does fit in easier than that. It's right in front of you, and you're not going to get a penalty for inadvertent DQ. Sorry, you're not going to get a penalty for inadvertent littering of the course. So that's how I set up my bike for hydration and nutrition. It requires a bit of pre-event thinking. It involves some planning of finding out where the feed stations are on the course. If they're 25 miles or less apart, and I should think that on most races they will be, then you could probably get through one bottle, which means that you don't need to start the race with 3 or 4 bottles. So all you need is this one here to replace your water, this one here, and this up here with your carbs, and maybe a couple of supplementary bars, and that should be it. But as I say, it requires some thought and some preparation in advance. So that's how I would do it. If you've got any questions, please feel free to write to me or post them below. But for now, thanks very much for watching, and enjoy your next long distance race. And remember, stay hydrated.